Coming to you live from an undisclosed location. Here is your host, the one and only Flint Rasmussen.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of According to Flint. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, on Ride Pass on Pluto, social media, welcome. We're off and running again this week as we trudge through the month of November, October. Man, look at me planning ahead already. November, it's October, and I know this because I broke down. Nobody here even knows. I broke down and bought Keurig pumpkin spice coffee and a pumpkin spice candle. I gave in to all the white girls, got some pumpkin spice everything. I will say I'm a candle guy. I'm revealing right now. I'm a candle guy, and the pumpkin spice candle in a little plate, telling you, on top of my game right there. So welcome to October. It's officially fall. It's officially fall in Montana as well. Finally, got rid of the 100-degree weather, and it's wet and cool, just how we like it in Montana in the fall. Ooh, I love fall, everybody. Ooh, I love fall. I like fall too. I just know what's coming. See, when you live in Montana, fall is great, but we know we're not seeing summer-ish stuff for months now. So it is officially smells like football. Teams, again, off this past weekend, the team's competition, a much-needed break for many of the riders and many of the people involved. This weekend, head off to Fort Worth, Texas, home of the area Texas Rattlers, hoping to continue their winning ways as they pick up the win in Missouri out there at Nature's Arena, where we warmed up the stage for Garth Brooks, who put on 4 big shows there at Johnny Morris's amphitheater temple there out in the Ozark Mountains. But we'll see if Cody Lambert's Texas Rattlers, along with his assistant coach, Cade Swore, in case you've missed that on the PBR telecast, Cade Swore, a many-time Wrangler National Finals rodeo calf roper who has helped Cody Lambert. They are good friends. Cody Lambert, who ropes quite well and ropes calves in his spare time. I think probably it's some of the smoothmouth ropings. That's old timers, smoothmouth. But and see if they can continue their winning ways. Friday night, a matchup between those Texas Rattlers and the Oklahoma Freedom, the night before the big Red River rivalry at the Cotton Bowl in Texas, as Oklahoma and Texas continue their traditional battle at a sort of neutral site. Here's what I'm doing. In the football game, I'm picking Texas. In the bull riding competition, I'm picking Oklahoma. Pretty diplomatic, but that's how I feel. We'll check back next week to see how dumb I really am. So, guys have been going to some other events this past weekend, Ruidoso, New Mexico, as well as Yakima, Washington. Some challenger events still going on in the midst of the team competition. Some of those riders who are not on teams, some of them who are lower level guys on teams sneaking off to some challenger events. Why? Well, because the top 5 from the Challenger Series automatically get into the Unleash the Beast Tour. Show me, here are the Challenger event standings. So what we're talking about is the one, like the ones I just mentioned. This past summer, places I go, like Binford, North Dakota, and Big Sky, Montana, and Livingston, Montana. All of those Challenger events have point systems in their own right. And Keyshawn Whitehorse has had a good summer and fall. He is winning the Challenger event finals. Dalen Swearingen. Now, the Dalen Swearingen, that guy being up in the top of the standings is a moot point because he's the world champion. So that I believe the top 5 from last year's Unleash the Beast final standings are out automatically in. And the top 5 from the Challenger event standings, it'll drop down because Dalen's already in. Then the performance, how are riders performing on the team's competition, the overall MVP standings gives the rest of the tour. So when it comes time for that, that's how we get the top 40 guys for the Unleash the Beast Tour. The Challenger event, the Challenger finals, the night before the team finals in Las Vegas, November 3rd at the South Point Arena and Equestrian Center. And also there's big money. Hey, Keyshawn Whitehorse has won over $40,000 just at Challenger event Challenger events this summer and this fall. Dalen Swearingen counting the $100,000 he won last week, 100 and some thousand. So for all of you who thought the teams was all taking over and what are we going to do? When are we going to watch bull riding? We have a schedule in case you missed it on the website and on social media. Here it is, the 2023 Unleash the Beast Tour. I wanted to put it like that so everybody could see what a schedule looks like. When we are given this schedule, we're given it sort of just like you as fans. The difference is we have to go. There are a couple I will miss. December 3rd and 4th, December 9th and 10th, St. Louis and Minneapolis. I will go to Tucson, Arizona. The reason being in the middle of December there, St. Louis and Minneapolis. That's during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. And I do some shows that are very important in my career in how I've committed to things. So I will miss those. And then it's buckle up, gas up the private jet. Don't have a private jet. Yeah, just a couple of them on there. Throw that back up there, Logan. I thought I was done. That was my fault. As we look, I'm glad we're going back to Indianapolis. You can see that the end of January. I like that we're going back there. Haven't been to there well, we started last year's season. Really like the crowds there. Albany, New York. Whew, haven't been there in a while. LA still on the schedule. I'll be straight. All right. I don't like going to LA. I like going to Orange County. I'm just not a big fan of LA. Sorry, LA people. You know it's true. And then some of the old standbys. Another new, I love we go to Milwaukee. Great crowds there. New Orleans. Haven't been there in a very long time. There's a double up later in the season. Everett, Washington, and Tacoma. Everett midweek, Tacoma. End of the week. That's tough on old guys. Damn it. But there it is. There's the 2023 schedule. So looking at a grind for everyone, a couple weeks off in November. And after that, away we go with the Unleash the Beast Tour to crown a world champion. Going to talk about some more fun things coming up. But first, quick word from our friends at Pendleton Whiskey.
Growing up, you wanted those older cowboys that you admired to someday call you a cowboy. Nobody can tell you you can't do that if you want to work at it hard enough. If money's super important, I'm doing the wrong thing, but I kind of got to pinch myself because I truly love what I do. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. Just make sure it gets taken care of.
Welcome back to According to Flint. Thanks, of course, to our friends at Pendleton Whiskey for all their support. As always, support in more ways than one. Emotional support, more than anything. Medicinal support. So I'm watching Monday Night Football a couple nights ago, and I chose to watch the Manning cast portion where they talk about the game. They have guests. I don't know. Once I put it on there, I kind of got addicted. But one thing you get to see there is, well, like, when someone runs out onto the field, a protester, a streaker, on network television, they do not show any of that because they don't want to give them the attention those people are looking for. However, on the Manning cast, they did show a defensive player from the Denver Broncos take out the guy that had run out onto the field. And everywhere social media has called him a streaker. Streakers are naked. And I've seen a couple of them back when I was a kid at Montana State football games. And they are legit streakers. But this was a protester. And the new thing now, I knew exactly what it was. Pink smoke bomb, pink t-shirt. Those are animal rights protesters. And what better place to protest for animal rights than a football game, right? So that's the new thing, is to disrupt animal rights protesters. In case you have missed it, my According to Flint podcasts, we've had some interesting topics. And this last week, I had agriculturist and an advocate, a commentator, Damian Mason. And we got on the topic of using the climate and the environment as a reason to not eat meat and to protest eating animals. You call it politics if you want, but I live in an ag state. I grew up in an ag family. I have a lot of agriculture friends. So when there is an attempt to be made to end our business and our way of life, it is important to me. Damian Mason and I got on the topic in lots of different ways, but in this case, the beyond meat, the fake meat, using the climate as an excuse to eat it. Here's a segment from that podcast. There's a commentator. He's on Fox Business Channel a lot. He wears the Holstein sport coat. Do you know that guy? He's on RFD TV.
On RFD TV, yeah. He's a markets guy. He does the green markets guy. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I thought of you because here we were doing this today. He put it a good way, and I would just say it, but then I'd be stealing. But he compares, they keep talking about plant-based fake meat, Yeah. He says it was brought up in his interview, and he said, it's not a worry because it's like decaf coffee and non-alcoholic beer. Nobody really wants decaf coffee, and nobody really wants non-alcoholic beer. It's just the other option. And I thought he put it a good way. He said, nobody really goes to a steakhouse to get a plant-based steak. It's just another option because they got stuck there. So he says it will never be a big market. It's just a talking point to build on, and it's an option. I liked that takeoff.
That's a very good take, and it's an accurate take. It's on my reading list for tonight. Beyond Meat's Reality is a Bloomberg article. It just came out yesterday afternoon. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I pointed out it was this summer, Flint, when those companies like Impossible Meats and Beyond Burger came out about 4 years ago. They had so much money invested in them from huge sources, the Bill Gateses, Jeff Bezoses, and all those. And they debuted, and then their stock market went up, and then it was all this whole propaganda, frankly, that all of us are going to switch over to this because it's so much better for the environment, and cow farts. As you pointed out, methane is mostly from cow digestion through the burps, if you will. Anyhow, it's all ridiculous. And then their share prices went up. So about this summer, I think it was, or spring, I'm checking it out. Beyond Meat's share price had dropped 81% from its high. So that was mostly just hype that took that share price up. And it was not because of actual sales. It was not because of an actual business model that's like, oh man, this stuff is really doing well. They had their flash. They had their 15 minutes. My hometown, which is a factory and farming town, even had Impossible Whoppers at the Burger King. Mm-hmm. They don't need more. So the consumer tried it. The consumer got caught up with it. Consumers tend to do that. It's the new fad. It's this thing. Have you tried this? It's the Rubik's Cube. It's whatever the thing is, but it didn't last. Best testament we can go with is during the pandemic when there was plants that processed pork were shut down. People are calling me. I'm getting on Fox Media and all this kind of stuff, talking about the reality of food. And Flint, you went to a grocery store in some of the larger cities, and the meat counter was already sold out because people were panicking. But guess what? There's still Beyond Burgers over there. I'm like, even when you thought you weren't going to be able to get protein, nobody wanted that crap. What does that tell you?
Even when you thought you were going to die, you still would need fake meat.
I might be dying, but by God, it's not gonna be enough to tempt me to eat. So they really do have. They are at a quandary because it's been 4 years. Are they selling environmentalism? Oh, it's better for the environment, which that's not necessarily true. When you think about that reality, that your listeners, of course, are right there with us because they're probably beef eaters. A cow is out there on range. We got 900 million acres, Flint, of agricultural land in the United States that's privately held. 900 million. About 360 million of that is crop production. Corn, soybeans, wheat are the three bigs, of course. And then you've got, your specialty crop from cauliflower to cranberries to, your orchard crops, almonds, whatever. 40% of the 900 is in crop cultivation. That means 60% of the privately held agricultural land in the United States, the best it can do is range or hay, right? How do you take grass and make it into something to eat? Humans can't digest grass. We can after it goes through a cow or a sheep. Right, that's it. So it's the idea that environmental damage because of cattle, it's really an effective means of harvesting something that's indigestible and turning it into animal protein, A, and B, it's, as we've learned, when managed correctly, wildfires, et cetera, et cetera. So bovine are really effective for the management of rangelands. So there's that part of it. But the environmental thing, some of the ingredients, if you look at these fake meats,
Yeah.
are palm oil. Well, are there any palm trees producing oil in Montana? No. All of the palm oil in the United States comes from like places like Indonesia. Now, are we to pretend that the environmental standards in Indonesia are the same as they would be here? No, of course not. They get put on a boat that burns hundreds of gallons of diesel per hour to be shipped across the ocean. They are packaged in plastic. So this environmental angle on fake meat just doesn't play out when you start looking at transportation, etc. So the angle that the environment would be better if we didn't eat meat, there's a lot of flaws in that, a lot of holes in that logic. There's the transportation issues. There's the fact that we're still going to eat something. Then there's the issue of nutrient density. You eat meat, there's a lot of protein density per ounce of meat. Where do you get that? You say, oh, well, beans. Well, first off, humans don't eat that many beans. I mean, if it was something that we love to do, we'd already be doing it. So there's a lot of flaws in the whole anti-meat campaign, if you will.
I have had my friend Damian Mason on a lot of my things. Used to have him on about once a month when I had a once a week Outside the Barrel radio show on rural radio. A great guy. Check out. We do keep up, post all the links to my podcast. That was, I believe, episode number 55. So we've done 55 of those suckers. Check them out, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search on YouTube According to Flint, subscribe, and those podcasts will pop up every other Thursday. This is an off week right now. Next Thursday, we will release another one. Say what you want about protesters being silly, the fake meat movement being silly, the environment with agriculture. Say what you want about them not knowing anything, but and call it, like I said, call it politics if you want. They're playing to their base, and we always have to be aware and understand what we are fighting in that battle to maintain our Western way of life. It's very important. Hey, we're going to wrap up the show after this quick break. Be right back on According to Flint.
As rural Americans, we have a unique understanding of and connection to the land. Whether we ranch, farm, log, or simply recreate, what we do today determines our tomorrow. As stewards of the land, it's our duty to ensure that our children and grandchildren can enjoy the outdoors in a similar manner that was afforded us. Join the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and ensure the future of elk, other wildlife, their habitat, and our hunting heritage. Visit rmef.org today.
Thanks, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. A couple weekends away. Let's see, 1 and then 2 and then 3. So basically 2.5 weeks away from the opening of rifle season here in Montana. Going to hit, go chase some elk around a little bit, or just watch them run on the opposite hillside. Doesn't matter. You know, just seeing elk. The work starts. Well, if you harvest corn, you kill an elk. Then the work starts. Notice my shirt of the week. I actually made a little visit. There you go, Bulldogs. To my alma mater. I am a graduate. Yes, I'm a Montana State Bobcat fan. My girls are there. My family, we've been Bobcat fans since we were born. I went to Western Montana College, which is now the University of Montana Western. Homecoming last weekend. My girls had a college rodeo there. My daughter Paige, of course, still on the team at Montana State. My daughter Shelby, the women's coach. Congratulations to them on winning winning 4 of the 5 fall rodeos. So congratulations to them. But sporting the black and red of the Western Bulldogs, small town, small college, NAIA football, Dillon, Montana, sideline pass. There it is. It ain't all big stadiums and huge boosters. These are student athletes. NAIA school, I'm saying Western right now, enrollment of 1,100 kids. They took on the Battling Bears of Rocky Mountain College. Went down in defeat. Lost to Rocky Mountain College. It was a fun game. Good to see a lot of old friends, a lot of old alums. Hey, by the way, October, I mentioned we're into October. Surprising Logan here. Wednesday, as you watch this show as it releases the first time, it's National Do Something Nice Day. So, hell with that. And National Walk to School Day. So 2 things that nobody actually did. Thursday, though, if you're watching this on Thursday, for Logan, it's National Plus Size Appreciation Day. Hey, Not just Logan, but I've appreciated the plus sizes for a long time. So there you go. It is October. So there, I thought I'd pick out a couple of what day it is. I should do that every week. I used to do it when I did radio. So I like national. Nobody did something nice and very few people walked to school. So that's what I think. Yeah, the plus size people maybe should walk to school. I'll get in trouble for that. You know, a movie that everyone should see, if you have any interest in country music at all. Not long ago, it popped up like on HBO, and I watched it and said, how the hell have I not watched that recently? Came out in 1980, Sissy Spacek, award-winning actress, Coal Miner's Daughter. Getting out of the way. Coal Miner's Daughter, the true story. Yes, Hollywood is Hollywood. They probably Hollywoodized, edited some things. The story of the path of Loretta Lynn, unbelievable. That's a project for you, Logan, being as young as you are. Everyone should watch the life Loretta Lynn lived, the struggles she had going through getting married at like 15 years old and having kids, and her husband helped her get into the music business. Just an amazing story. Loretta Lynn passing away this week, I believe 90 years old. I think she was 90 years old. Coal Miner's Daughter, required viewing for anyone who's listened to country music. There you go. It is such a great movie. Sissy Spacek just was amazing, that movie. I'm telling you, got to watch it. Loretta Lynn, an icon, one of the greatest stories in all of the history of country music. So need to watch it. Also, this guy right here, I want to put his picture. If you're in the rodeo, not in the rodeo business, even if you are, you probably don't know who that guy is. Not a well-known face, nobody famous as far as the public eye. That is a guy named Gary Williams, who became the chairman, head of the Tucson Rodeo, La Fiesta de los Vaqueros. Gary Williams passed away earlier this week as well. And Gary Williams became a very good friend of mine because in the late 90s, early 2000s, you may not know this, the Tucson Rodeo is in February. And after time where all the cowboys go to all those indoor rodeos, Denver, Fort Worth, San Angelo, all of those rodeos indoors, Tucson is like that chance, the first time in the winter into the spring that the cowboys get to go outside. My family, we used to load up our motorhome. We'd go to the Anaheim PBR, leave there, drive across the bottom of the country, and go to Tucson and spend 2 weekends in Tucson at the big Tucson Rodeo. And the guy that made that happen and became the face of the Tucson Rodeo is a guy named Gary Williams. And he passed away this week at the age of 73. That was a big deal in my career. There's milestones. All of us in the rodeo, Western lifestyle business have these milestones of things. I remember when I got hired to go to San Angelo, Texas. I got hired to go to Tucson. I went to Denver. I went to Pendleton. There's Reno. You could name them. But when Gary Williams hired me to go to Tucson, that was a very big deal. Not only that, it was cool being a guy from Montana to realize that it's warm some places in the winter. So we will miss Gary Williams every year at the national finals when we'd see him and get to visit. So heartbreaker there. Hey, thanks for joining me this week. We will see you in Fort Worth, Texas. Teams competition, Dickies Arena, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thanks for joining me, everybody. See you then.